Welcome to Go Play Esports Podcast with Christopher Turner, Go Play founder and CEO, esports coach at the Southern University Lab, and gamer. Discussions on the emergence of esports at the K-12, collegiate, and professional level. Let's go! Let's go play.
Welcome. This is your host, Christopher Turner, man. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be another exciting episode. Everybody knows that's been listening to me thus far. Rainbow Six Siege is one of my favorite games to play. I like the team aspect of it. I like the 5v5 format. I like the realistic format of the game. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest for the day. If you're on the Rainbow Six Siege scene, you know him as Lycan. His government name is Justin Woods. Pretty much was a professional player. Now he's a professional coach for Spacestation Gaming. Got some championships under his belt. Got some wins under their belt. Not only on the coaching side, but on the professional side as well. Let's introduce Lycan to the show right now. Hi, Lycan. How you doing, man? Thank you for coming on the show, man. I gave a brief introduction. Can you tell the listening audience a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I've been, a gamer my whole life. Started with console when I was a kid, then started playing like 1.6 Counter-Strike and stuff once I was able to buy a PC myself. Spent a few years in the Navy, and then afterwards got out and got my degree. And I'm just still playing games, loving the competition and everything that comes along with it. So,
I just did an interview with Fox A, and he mentioned Counter-Strike as well. What was the transition for you as far as like moving over to Rainbow?
I think my big passion in gaming is the mind side of gaming and being able to outsmart your opponents and stuff like that. So I more prefer tactical shooters over games where you can respawn and stuff like that. So Counter-Strike
just running gun games.
Yeah. Call of Duty or Overwatch or stuff like that where you can just die, and there is a punishment for it, but there's less, you can if I do play Call of Duty, I'll play Search or something. So there's still that aspect where when you die, it really, really hurts your team over just a small kind of critical mistake, but you can make up for it kind of deal. So yeah, that's what kind of drew me to Counter-Strike right away. On console, I played SOCOM for console people. I love SOCOM. That's probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, I play with a group of guys now, a group of older guys, and we talk about that game all the time. I wish they would kind of bring it back, man. But it's a classic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we go any further, man, thank you for your services in the Navy as well, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No problem, man. So, starting out, man, did you see the transition in R6 as far as it being an e-sport? Was it that early for you, or you kind of came on the scene once it was developed?
I was in it right away. I had actually been transitioning out of another game that I was kind of losing interest at the time. I was playing League of Legends, and I started that game in beta, and it'd been 4 or 5 years, and I was kind of losing interest, and I started picking up Counter-Strike again. The only thing I don't like about Counter-Strike is it's pretty basic, or it's the meta in that game is very dry because there's not a whole lot of depth to it. It's mostly you got your flashbang smokes and mollies, and then other than that, it's just pure raw fragging skill. And then this Rainbow Six was in closed beta. My brother actually got a key for closed beta, and he shared one with me, and so we played that. And Rainbow Six is an interesting mix between a MOBA and a first-person shooter because all the operators have their own unique abilities that no one else has, and so it kind of drew my love for League of Legends and my love for Counter-Strike together into one game, and it was dynamic. You know, you have multiple levels, you can breach walls and create your own sight lines. And so everything that I've always liked in gaming, where you can like kind of outsmart your opponent, it was all put into one game. So I've been playing it ever since.
That's amazing, man. That's awesome, man. So, like, for the listening audience, can you kind of walk through the path on, like, you know, step into that R6 scene and talk about some of the professional teams you played for, some of the accomplishments you've had as far as being a professional gamer?
Sure. So I played in the first season. Like I said, I started in beta and I started playing, and the first opportunity was season 1, which was 3 months after release. And back then, to qualify, you had to do these Go For tournaments for ESL. There was like 5 weeks of Go For tournaments, and how you placed in those tournaments give you points. And then at the end of the 5 weeks, they said whoever had the most points, top 8 teams, those teams like start the first season of Pro League. And we actually were ranked number 1 right off the bat through the first Go For tournaments. And we got picked up by an org, which I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure they're still around, called Astral Authority, which was pretty big for like a first release. Like, not very many people got signed to orgs. They just made their own teams and kind of just supported themselves. Back then, we didn't really like make salary or anything. It was more just like playing competitively and having fun. Actually, my assistant coach was along the ride with me in year 1, and we still joke about the fact that one of the early contracts we got signed with was Onslaught Gaming. And that contract, all we got was beef jerky. One of their sponsors like sent out like six or 8 different flavors of their beef jerky to each of us, and like that was our salary for the season. Was we just got like a beef jerky deal. So it's definitely changed now. You got big orgs like G2, Spacestation Gaming, Team Liquid, TSM, and like everything in the game now, and it's way different. We still joke about the fact that like we used to play Pro League for beef jerky, and these guys are out here, you know,
making 6 figures.
So yeah,
like so how is it like being in that mix and seeing the growth? Can you talk about maybe, you know, where you see like the end road, where you see this in like 5 years since you've been there since the beginning?
Yeah, no, it's a really cool thing to see something grow like that, being like at the foundation and like seeing what it's become. Like the first season's finals in Poland, they were so small, and it was basically just a studio that could hold the players and the people who were there to stream it and everything. And that the only people that were in the audience were just the players that like weren't playing that current game. So you only had like 20 to 30 maybe players just hanging out in the chairs that they had for them or whatever. And then now you look at like SI 2020, where it's played in a big stadium, the whole thing's full, people are cheering, going crazy. It's special to be a part of, for sure. I at the beginning, we laughed a lot about the fact that the game wasn't going to make it anywhere and it was going to die. You know, Ubisoft games usually have like a really good history of, they just are good at mass producing games, and you'll just see sequel after sequel after sequel. So we were just like, well, this game's going to die soon anyway. They're just going to make like a Rainbow Six Siege 2, and this game won't matter anymore. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, like we're talking about this game being alive for 10 years, and they're putting all this money into it, and we're having these big shows and stuff, and it became like from a joke to, oh, this is real. Like, this is something that's going to blow up. And then, you know, one of the first big orgs to sign was Evil Geniuses back when they signed Continuum. And then you're like, now big orgs are getting into this. And then Cloud9 came in, and then like everyone started following suit. And like when you see it go from, you know, the orgs like I'm talking about that can give you like whatever their sponsors have, then now they're talking about giving you a salary. And just seeing that slow growth, it's pretty amazing, to be honest, to be at the ground floor and then to see what it is now. going from making beef jerky to being able to quit your full-time job, that's something that's
it's
quite
amazing.
remarkable.
Yeah, and that's what I love about esports, man. Like, no matter, of course I'm interviewing you, and you were a professional player. You're talking about 1 percentile, but even if you're not on that level, you also have other means of making a living within esports, man, and that's what I love about it. It's not just based on a skill set for a game. Mm-hmm. So I really love that aspect. So I know you really love R6, man. So tell us, like, what's your favorite map and favorite characters to play with?
Okay, favorite operators are Thatcher and Doc. They both are my favorite, attack and defense. And then I would say favorite map has always been Cafe. They recently reworked Cafe, and I'm not I don't really consider it my favorite anymore. Since I've been a coach, I kind of have little things that I dislike about each map that kind of keep me from picking a favorite now. I would say the old Cafe is definitely my favorite map of all time. If I had to pick a new one, I'd just say Clubhouse, because it's what we're the best at. We're if you follow the Rainbow Six Siege scene, that we're insanely good at Clubhouse.
Exactly. And why do you think so? You think it's because it has so many angles and so many access points to the point where it's easily to defend it?
I think I more enjoy it for the attack side, actually. The map is extremely defender-sided. It's very hard to attack, and that a team is really good at that map if they can break down defenses and find ways to still make their way in. And if whenever you can get 3 rounds on an attack, it's a very, very good attack half. So I really like that. You can kind of just see how good a team is if they can break the 3, or even if they're good enough, break 4 attacks on that map. That's what I really enjoy, is seeing a team be able to methodically pick apart a defense on Clubhouse.
And with that said, I know we kind of went into the coaching side of things right quick, and we're going to get there. I wanted to ask you, being a professional player at your height, how did it feel to be on that stage and get those wins? Being on stage is definitely something that's hard to describe, and especially when you get to a crowd watching you in front of you, and as you're walking on stage, cheering for you. It's something that's hard for a lot of gamers to prepare for. Beforehand, you kind of see other players do it, and you're man, this guy's so different when he's at LAN than online. And then you kind of get to experience it for yourself. And the first couple times that you're up there on the stage, you go through a lot of emotions, and it kind of really makes you your blood pressure basically rise like crazy, and you make mistakes that you're I've never made a mistake like that before. Why am I doing that? But you get so excited, and it's definitely a different feeling sitting in front of people, and you just get an if you spawn kill or get an opening frag or whatever, and the fans go crazy that, you feel it, and it definitely it gets to you the first couple of times until you can kind of learn to tune it out. But there's no feeling like that for a gamer. Being able to be in front of people and them go nuts when you hit a crazy shot or something, or you win a big clutch and all of them stand up and are pointing at you, man. It's a very cool feeling. That's awesome, man. It's amazing. It's probably equivalent to being an athlete, and what y'all guys are. But I can understand that, man, feeling that crowd and that rush go through your body when a big move has been made, man. That should be exciting. So the next question I wanted to ask you, as far as point in your professional career when you transition over to being a coach, what was the mind process with that? I know you're a family man. I know you love your kids and your wife. Was that part of the decision, or was it just the present moment